Ruth?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to our class.
Thank you.
Jeru? Jeru, unmute and say something. Okay, good. Sharon? Sharon, unmute.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, I want us to get started in our today's session. And in our today's session now, what we are going to learn. Somebody to unmute. I want Jacob to unmute and read what is on the screen.
Yes, on the screen it's apply GIS and remote sensing techniques.
Thank you, Jacob. So the session title is Apply GIS and Remote Sensing Techniques. And in this, we are going to cover two objectives, two learning objectives. And I want Sharon to read for us the learning objectives that we are going to cover today. Unmute your mic and just read, please.
Okay, by the end of the session, the learner should be able to, 1, define terms, that is GIS, remote sensing, sensor, and electromagnetic radiation. The next one is to explain data collection techniques based on the purpose.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. So that is exactly what we're going to cover today. And right away, to start, let's look at the definition of terms. So we have 4 terms, and I want Njeru to define for us the term GIS.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
GIS is simply a system that collects, stores, analyzes, and presents geographical data.
Thank you, Njeru. That is correct. That is GIS. It's just a system that collects, stores, and processes geographic information data. Next, let's define the term remote sensing. Lillian? Lillian, unmute your mic and respond.
Okay, remote sensing refers to the process of acquiring data about objects without getting into direct contact with the sensors.
Okay, thank you. I can hear some echoes from your side. Please, Lillian, make sure your device is right state. So just as you have put it, just the process of acquiring data about an object without being in direct with it. Then let's move to the next definition, which is the sensor. Mtuku.
A sensor is any instrument that collects data by detecting the energy that is reflected from the target of the interest.
Thank you, Mtuku. So as you have heard, a sensor is just a device that detects the energy that is reflected from the target, then it processes it to obtain the information. Then lastly, let's look at the electromagnetic radiations from Bernarda. Bernarda, unmute your mic and
electronic radiation is the energy that travels through space in the form of waves, including physical light, radio waves, infrared radiation, and ultraviolet radiation and X-rays.
Okay, thank you, Bernalda. So this is the what we have just defined for us, and the responses that you have just given me, that is the correct responses. So I want to thank you for giving that responses. So I just will put it. I'm not going to add anything because that is the correct definition that you have just given. So next, let's look at the data collection techniques based on the purposes. So when we collect data for various purposes. And in our geographic information system and remote sensing, when we want to get this data, we get it for a specific use. And that is what we want to look at. So class, I want us to just look at the purposes of collecting GIS or remote sensing data. Who can give us an answer on that? Bernalda and Misati.
We have environmental monitoring.
Okay, thank you, Bernalda. Misati.
Agriculture.
Agriculture. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So these are some of the purposes for collecting this data: environmental monitoring, urban planning, natural resource management, and agriculture, just the way you have just put it. So now, those are some of the purpose for that data. But before we collect that data, we must have some considerations on the type of techniques that we are going to use. So what are some of the considerations that we must put in place before we choose a technique for data collection? Yes?
Type of data.
Type of data. Njeru?
Also resources that are available.
Available resources. Then we have the accuracy that is needed. So these are the things that we consider before we collect our data. Right. So let's go direct to the data collection techniques. So class, what are the data collection techniques that we can use to collect the geographic information systems? Let me start from Lillian. Yes. Jacob.
There is a remote sensing, I guess.
Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, that is true. Lillian. Yes.
Global positioning systems.
Global positioning systems. That is true. Jeru.
We have a global navigation satellite system, the GNSS.
That is correct. The GNSS. Then Sharon lastly. Sharon?
Field data collection.
Field data collection. So that is true. So to just highlight some of the techniques at the remote sensing, as just we have said it, we have global positioning system, we have GNSS, we have field data collection, and then we have aerial photography. So that now comes to an end of our discussion for today. And before I end my class, I'm going to give an assignment. So in groups of 2, create a video summarizing techniques for collecting GIS and remote sensing data. So make sure the video is not more than 2 MPs. Include your names of group members on this video, and then submit it in the next session. I want you to wish you well as you embark to work on your assignments. So you can unmute your mic and say something if you need some clarification. Yes, class, you can unmute your mic. Yes.
Now, we didn't quite hear the question.
Yes.
I'm saying we didn't quite hear the question.
Okay. So the question is in groups of 2, create a video summarizing the techniques of collecting GIS and remote sensing data. And I'm going to share that assignment on your WhatsApp group for more clarification. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you and have a good day.
Good evening.
Okay.